Let's talk about a Bitcoin prediction. This is my prediction for 2025. A little bit of fun, but a lot of people do talk about where you think Bitcoin could be going. And I thought I would do a little bit of analysis on it. If you've never heard of Bitcoin, you probably should have it in your portfolio if you're in crypto. It's a really good portfolio balancer. I want to put more of my Bitcoin into altcoins, especially into private sales, pre-sales, stuff like that. And I like to use it because then I can refund it back when the tokens are more, what's the word? Dominance friendly. I'll just go with that. Now, again, as I say, Bitcoin is a very different asset. It's kind of one of the ones where you need to be very, very careful with in terms of when you use it, when not to use it. And obviously that means for altcoin gains. Why? Let me explain. With the factor dominance, with altcoins and all that kind of stuff in terms of this, mentioned it before, if this is going up, it's usually pretty bad for altcoins. So higher it is, the more Bitcoin you can obviously utilize and put into altcoins, and the lower it is, you should be taking profit back into Bitcoin. That is a narrative that I use for the most part. And I also do it with USD as well, a little bit. But let's talk about Bitcoin. Let's do some analysis. Let's see where this can go. Currently in a bit of a range. It feels like a certain decision might be happening very, very soon. ETF approval, or delay, or rejection, right? But we are in a range. We deviated above it and went kind of back in there. But what I want to know is, where can we go in the future? Now, when we talk about this is kind of what we've got. Now, this is interesting. You've got multiple levels there on the fib and much higher versions as well on the extensions. We have a halving cycle coming up very, very soon. That is around March, April time, right? What halving tells us is after 100 days of halving, it usually drops the price a little bit. And then 1 year later, it's much higher. Bitcoin has had a fantastic year throughout since, 1st December to now. That is a monthly time frame. I know, looks pretty good, right? But what else do we need to know about? What's happened in previous cycles? Well, if we're going to look at previous cycle methodology, you can go from the high of the cycle, 20K, down to the low, and you can see where we actually topped out in that previous cycle. You can see here roughly $65,000, give or take. It kind of topped out. You can see where potential targets were. You could take profit at a lot of these targets and be very, very happy, certainly if you were buying around that low level, that 4-figure kind of level. But the new cycle, this is the new version of it. We're already here, pretty much halfway, which is pretty scary when you think we've had a pretty horrible bear market when you think about it. But potential areas could be $83,000. If we go a bit higher, the 618 levels, the first one anyways, an obvious $102,000. For me, I think that is pretty much possible. When you go even higher and even deeper, this is a kind of level that I'm more interested in. I think this is probably where we may well end up. Now, it sounds a bit mental to say that, but when you look at the fact of potential diminishing returns, obviously the halving scarcity, the other interest from other elements in terms of other altcoins that are good, people may look at Bitcoin and go, well, I'm not going to make much money, but the price could still be there, right? We've also got the ETF. 14 potential ETFs could go live. If they do, it's going to be fun. It's going to be very interesting. Doesn't mean it's just going to go to the moon, but I do think that is not a bad price level for it to be. But it could go much higher in terms of the cycle. Now, I'm not talking about 10 years, 20 years. I'm talking about the cycles. So yes, you may well find that maybe in 20 years' time, it might be worth a lot more. I think there's a lot of people that still run on hopium thinking that we're going to go to some people do say like 1 million, and we've seen it before in the past. People go a bit too crazy, but you just got to look at the past in terms of growth. If you look at previous cycles and you think, well, bear with me, we'll go from COVID to here. That's a huge run, right? Yeah, of course it is. It's a huge run, but to replicate that again, it can go pretty crazy, but it's probably very, very unlikely, right? To replicate that again. I find replicating that would be hard. I still believe diminishing returns are a thing. If we do half of the amount of growth, we go to basically there. Not bad, right? Good little number. So in terms of predictions, that's where I'm at. But what we need to note as well, obviously we've got to look at the facts of how big of an asset that is. To look at that, look at the coin perspective, right? If we're going to go BTC, and let's just say our price target is, say, 155,000, it would be a $3 trillion asset. 3 trillion. What will that make the rest of the market? That is a very nice sum of money. You know, we're talking previous cycles, how they kind of roll, but look at how big the altcoin market is now. Look at how many assets are in the altcoin ecosystem that is going to be growing the entire market and more interest. As I've said, right? Halving, huge. ETF, huge. Potential diminishing returns there over time. Because people may look at that and go, I'm not really going to make much money on Bitcoin, but it could become a very good store of value as per what we want it to become. When we talk about that, we go back to dominance. What can you do with BTC? As I say, hold it when it's, you know, going higher, right? Hold on to it. Hold on to it because you should be selling into Bitcoin at these lows when, you know, altcoin dominance is at its lowest. Sorry if I've lost you, because your altcoin value in BTC is at its highest. Therefore, you can sell and hold Bitcoin as this rises. Because when dominance of Bitcoin rises, you need to be in it, right? When it starts to drop off and slow down and goes too high, you rotate back into altcoins to make more Bitcoin for when it goes down again. That is the whole thing. And this is why you should hold Bitcoin, to allow you to do that, to grow Bitcoin, because over time, with Bitcoin, we could be looking at something very, very simple. Numbers go up. The whole market Ponzi, essentially, as we say. We said it before on Learning Crypto livestream, that if you're an investor, well, basically you're going to make money because of inflation, because of money go up, numbers go up, S&P 500, all that kind of good stuff. But there, talk about it a lot on my Patreon, why I buy Bitcoin and why I hold Bitcoin, why I rotate into Bitcoin. It's pretty interesting. It's fascinating. And when I look back at my portfolio and I think, well, I've done really well here, it's usually because I keep a decent chunk of Bitcoin, even if I do want to use some of it. Anyways, if you like my stuff, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. More videos are coming. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos instead of my little 2 a week, potentially, that I normally do. I want to be upping that massively, so you're going to see a lot more of me. But I thought a Bitcoin price prediction for the new cycle is kind of needed. I think we're going to go roughly around this point here. That's my personal belief in terms of having that potentially. Don't know when it's going to happen, but I would be very, very happy if it goes there, personally.